on the Weather Channel. Rain and mountain snow is expected today and tonight for much of the Pacific Northwest U.S. I'll stand outside, look up and wait for it to come pouring, because real kisses freak the fuck out of me. Today I stood outside for what I felt like an eternity until I almost got hit by a bus. So what if it's 9 a.m. rush hour for commuters? It was raining and I wanted to be slathered with kisses. Now, if some guy were to ever try that shit on me, I'd punch him in the face. See, the difference with rain is that you have a choice to be kissed or go inside and have hot cocoa with marshmallows. On the other hand, if there's an actual person, an actual breathing human being requiring your attention and saliva, enough said. But when it's coming down from the sky down to your hair and it starts trickling down to your forehead, then the bridge of your nose and to your lips, it's divine. Like drinking God's tears. It's kissing God.
The Primera Clase, 2009.
220 miles west of destination. First class. 6 people total. Reclining almost all the way flat. 2 glasses of wine. She asked for Shiraz. They gave her Cabernet. Calmase. 1 cup of nuts. Chicken Cobb salad. Stale pita and hummus on a broken plastic case. She knew someone whose dog was named Hummus. A plate of warm sugar cookie. She has no interest in watching what's on screen, so the only other option is to listen to the radio station, number 2 Jazz. It's a long way home from La Boca. She hasn't realized that her voice is worth enough to be flown to different parts of the world. Torch songs, yes. They've compared her to the Boyka, Maritza, Lhasa, Ayon, Evora, Lumpur, and Nina of Argentine Pain. Wait a second. The left side of her lip just slid upwards. Strange fruit. They're playing her Spanish rendition. Not as critically acclaimed as other performers, but this rendition does hauntingly please her. It's reminiscent of where she comes from. The mouth. After the millennium crash, there were 2 things that the poor thought about. 1, how everyone would soon experience what it's like to work for bringing home some pollo milanesa on the table. 2, how the poor would find new lows in their begging. She recalls that this was when she started singing on the streets of Casa Rosada. Well, not exactly, because they would have kicked her out. No, just a few blocks away, closer to the Havana store where she would try alfajores samples, knowing that it might be the only meal she would have that day. Ella es una fruta extraña. Voy a cantar para ti si puedo usarlo, she said, pointing toward the baño as she smiled at the flight attendant who had no problem returning the flirtation. He let her through, of course, even if the seatbelt sign was on. And all throughout the flight, he would pass by and say,
Espero por tu canción.
She thought about it.
Please turn off all electronic devices as we prepare for our descent. As she reached up to get her carry-on, another hand took hold of her bag and handed it to her. The flight attendant smiled, doing his job and being flirtatious at the same time.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas, she giggled and sang to him as she walked away. Lady Liberty.
He watched Lady Liberty stand on the corner as tourists passed by. Here, freedom has a price. It's $2 to have a picture taken with her. From afar, by herself, she charges $1. If you try to sneak a photo in, which many tourists do, she will get annoyed and beat you with the torch she carries. It doesn't matter if you're 5 years old or 55. Freedom has a price. Gas reached $5 a gallon that day. When he saw the price at Shell, he swore out loud, which he seldom did. Fuck. At that very moment, a kid around 9 or 10, busy with his Sony PSP, passed by with his Guatemalan nanny and looked up, apologizing. Why was this kid walking by a gas station anyway? And why was his nanny letting him? He avoided driving for the rest of the day, but succumbed to the rodeo when the evening decided to turn crisp outside. It reminded him of home. It reminded him of his middle name, Winter.